Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 10. Today, we're going to be discussing the entrepreneurial process. So I have some videos and the chapter to review with you, as well as some PowerPoints. Here's a little video with our favorite friend that we look at every single time we meet. And learn enter.
Now that we have a sense of what entrepreneurship is and what it means to us individually, as well as who entrepreneurs are and what makes them successful, it's time to dig into the entrepreneurial process. Now remember, entrepreneurial ventures do not have to be for-profit businesses to be entrepreneurial. Rather, they can be non-for-profit social change movements, charitable organizations, government initiatives, improvement concepts, or your classic start a small business. Regardless of the manifestation, the process that we need to go through to go from an entrepreneurial idea or opportunity to actually making something happen is the same. We need to be able to identify exciting opportunities, evaluate and analyze them in a meaningful way, gather resources and engage others, as well as develop a planning document that will get everyone on the same page and ready to hit the ground running. In this unit, we are going to apply this process and run through a simulation before you do this on your own in Unit 4. By the end of this unit, you will identify exciting entrepreneurial opportunities, evaluate exciting entrepreneurial opportunities, model the entrepreneurial process for the exciting entrepreneurial opportunities, and create entrepreneurial planning documents.
Right. Great. Entrepreneurial process. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make it bigger. Okay, is the process of starting and running one's own business. So many pop-ups today. Entrepreneur is a individual who undertakes the risk associated with creating, organizing, and owning a business. So when we think about entrepreneurial careers, we can see business school entrepreneurs, percentage of business school alumni currently self-employed by graduation year classes from 2010 to 2013, 5%. Classes from 2000, 2009, 10%. Classes from 1990 to 1999 is 18%, and before 1990 is 23%. So we can see how in the past, a lot of people pursued business, according to GMAT and the MBAs. So we can see right here with entrepreneur success, if you want to have a successful career, these are some factors you need: innovation, recognition, relationship, growing, social responsibility, environmental responsibility, management, financial factors. Personal success, we know, is recognition, relationship, knowledge, management, financial factors, psychological factors. That includes control, achievement, motivation, traits and attitudes, personal values. The dilemmas we have are personal, family, and business. Step in the entrepreneurial process: discovery, concept development, and resourcing, actualization, and harvesting. Steps for the entrepreneurial process: we want discovery, the stage in which the entrepreneur generates ideas, recognizes opportunities, and studies the market. We have innovation and opportunity. Discovery: consider your hobbies and skills. Consider consumer wants and needs. And you can conduct surveys and questionnaires to test the market. You can consider customer needs and wants, study demographics. The steps for the entrepreneurial process would be for you also to have a concept of development. You should develop a business plan. a detailed proposal describing the business idea. In that, you should make sure you have your code of ethics and mission statement and the executive summary. Concept development, whose business location will a patent or trademark be required? Resourcing, the stage in which the entrepreneur identifies and acquires the financial, human, and capital resources needed for the venture startup, etc. Startup resources. Resourcing, identify potential investors, apply for loans, grants, and assistance. Hire employees. Actualization, the stage in which the entrepreneur operates the business and utilizes resources to achieve the goals and objectives. We have a grand opening. We have day-to-day operations. Harvesting is the stage in which the entrepreneur decides on venture's future growth, development, or demise. What's your 5-year and 10-year plan? Consider adding locations or providing different products and services. Will you go public? A model of the entrepreneur process. We have personal, achievement, locus of control, ambiguity, and tolerance, risk-taking, personal values, education, experience, and opportunity recognition. That's innovation. With that, we have the environment, and that's opportunities and role models and creativity. We have personal, risk-taking, job dissatisfaction, job loss, education, age, gender, commitment, resources. Sociological, we have networks, teams, parents, family, role models, advisors. Environment, we have economy, compensation, resources, incubator, and government policy. Personnel, we have entrepreneur, leader, manager, commitment, and vision. Organizational, we have the team, we have the strategy, we have the structure, culture, and products. The growth, the environment, competitors, customers, suppliers, investors, bankers, lawyers, resources, government policy, and economy. And we look at Timon's model of entrepreneurial progress. We have communications, business plan, the resources, the opportunity. The business plan is like the fits and the gaps. Creativity, we have ambiguity and certainty. And then leadership, we have exogenous forces and capital market context. You're collecting, reviewing, interpreting surveys you distributed last week about your business idea. What stage of the process are you in? So these are the different stages: actualization, concept development, discovery, and harvesting. And then if you're currently seeking people and companies to invest in your business, what stage of the entrepreneurial process are you in? Actualization, concept development, discovery, and resourcing. What's an example of activity for a business person who's entering the harvesting stage of the entrepreneurship? Considering opening a second store, gather market research data about the product, having a grand opening. For the business, seeking financial assistance from the Small Business Administration. Preparing a business plan for a new business, renting a building for a new store, copywriting the website for the new businesses are classified which stage of the environmental process: actualization, concept development, discovery, and resourcing. Offering shares of stock to public investors and planning goals for the business during the next 5 years are examples of activities in which the stage of entrepreneurial processes: actualization, concept development, harvesting, and resourcing. Having a large grand opening sale or summer clearance sale are examples of which stage of entrepreneurial process: actualization, concept development, harvesting, and resourcing. Right here we have entrepreneurship, career, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship taken as a career. We have entrepreneurship, experiment, develops vision, resource development, responsibility, creation, rewarding, and work with the company. All right. Okay, when starting a new business, there is the entrepreneurial process that's often followed. An entrepreneur must find, evaluate, and develop opportunity for overcoming the forces that resist the creation of something new. The entrepreneurial process has four distinct phases. One, identification and evaluation of opportunity. Two, development of the business plan. Three, determination of required resources and management of resulting enterprise. And my screen is stuck. Okay. All right. So the screen is stuck. So let's just go to video. I'm not sure why it's doing that right now. Why the Secret to Success is Setting the Right Goals by John Doerr of TED Talks. Here's the video we're going to watch.
Raise your hand if you have recently had to introduce yourself or make small talk. Yes, that is what today is all about. How to speak better in the moment. My hunch is, for many of you, introducing yourselves and making small talk at some points was challenging. It's awkward. It can be uncomfortable. So today I want to talk about how we can think faster and talk smarter in those moments where we're put on the spot to think and act quickly. We all know that speaking in planned situations, presentations, pitches, meetings with agendas, can be hard. But it can be much harder to speak in the moment. And if you think about it, most of our communication happens in the moment. It's things like making a toast, answering questions, giving feedback, introducing yourself, answering questions. These are the
Okay. So this is Think Faster, Talk Smarter with Matt Abrams. So if you're somebody who's got a great idea for your business, but you're so scared about doing your pitch, and talking to public, but maybe you have to because you're a small business and you're doing everything. You could always take a speech class, right? But maybe you don't want to because you already have your degrees and you don't want to keep going to school. You want to finish this degree. You could join a group. I know there are some groups out there and you have to pay money. However, there is Toastmasters. My dad said he was in Toastmasters when he was in college and he liked it. And it's international, so it's in other countries as well. And there's even Zoom ones. And you just practice your speaking skills. You practice doing oral presentations. You practice interviewing, doing business pitches. It's a lot of fun. And I've never been in it, but I did attend a meeting and I did pay for the membership because one of the students I had years ago wanted to start the club on campus, but she needed enough people. So I remember it was like 10 or 20 bucks I paid to join and become a member, but I only went to one meeting just so that she could keep the club going. So it was great. It was really amazing to see that club on a college campus. I work at a couple other schools in person, and some of them do have them on college campuses. They're also on military bases, community centers. Sometimes they meet at like restaurants. My dad said his used to meet at like Marie Callender's and Denny's Norms, and they would eat dinner and they would talk. So it was kind of informal. So you could always do something like that, brush up your skills. Yes, there are organizations that you can pay money to, but why pay money when you can be part of an organization and just pay a one-time fee and attend meetings and just practice and listen. So successful entrepreneurship occurs when creative individuals bring together a new way of meeting the needs or the wants. This is accomplished through patterns process, one that mobilizes and directs resources to deliver a specific product or service to those in a way that's financially viable. While these could be 100% business ideas, they could also be concepts that are based on the spirit of altruism and nonprofit. For innovation ideas that are strictly business concepts, sustainability can and should be embedded in design of a product and the operations by applying the criteria of reaching toward benign or at least considerably safer energy and material use, a reduced resource footprint, and elimination of inadequate social impacts due to the venture operations, including its supply chain impacts. Entrepreneurial innovation combined with sustainability principles can be broken down into the following four key elements. Each one of these requires analysis. Each one needs to be analyzed separately. And then constellation of factors must fit together into a coherent whole. These elements are as follows: opportunity, market, entrepreneur, team, and resources. Successful ventures are characterized by a coherence or fit across and throughout these steps. The interests and skills in the entrepreneur must fit with the product design and offering. The team's qualifications should match the required knowledge needed to launch the venture. These needs need to be financially viable, demand enough people at the financially viable price for the product or service, and of course, early adopters. Those willing to purchase have to be identified. Finally, sufficient resources, including financial resources, operating capital, office space, equipment, production facilities, components, materials, and expertise must be identified and brought to bear. Each piece is discussed in more detail in the sections that follow. We have opportunity, market, entrepreneur, team, and resources. Successful ventures are characterized by coherent or fit across throughout these steps. The interests and skills of the entrepreneur must fit with the product, design, and offering. The team's qualifications should match the required knowledge needed to launch the venture. There needs to be financially viable demand, enough people at a financially viable price for the product or service, and of course, early adopters. Those willing to purchase have to be identified. Finally, sufficient resources, including financial resources, operating capital, office space, equipment, production facilities, components, materials, and expertise must be identified and brought to bear. Each piece is discussed in more detail in the sections that follow. Entrepreneurial process. We want to identify, analyze, and plan the opportunity. We were watching a video with Crash Course the other day. So we were talking about entrepreneurship.
Hi, I'm Hank Green. Welcome to Crash Course. This is a YouTube channel.
We already watched this a long time ago. Okay, I'm going to show you the one about competition. No matter what, you are going to have competition. So, take for instance, if you're going to be a coffee shop, you are going to have the big brands like Starbucks, Coffee Bean, Pete's Coffee, Dutch Bros, Summer Moon. You have like McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts. They all have their own brand of coffee too. So you are going to have competition. This is what you can learn from competition.
to competitions with clear winners and losers, baseball games, math Olympiads, pie eating contests, and games involving thrones. We crown a victor and everyone else goes home empty-handed. Or when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or die. In business, though, there isn't just one winner. In today's world, there are very few actual monopolies or markets with a single seller. Participation trophies actually mean something. So as entrepreneurs, we have to take stock in the middle of the competition and ask the question, how competitive am I? Our competitors are more than happy to answer this for us. Maybe not with words, but with what they do. So get ready. It's time to study up on the competition. Are you up to the challenge? I'm Anna Akana, and this is Crash Course Business Entrepreneurship. I know what you're thinking. It's time to break out the cat burglar ensemble and do some light corporate espionage. Finally. Well, let's hold off for a second. You know, movies like to show a cutthroat business world with lots of men glaring out of windows, surveying their vast empires, and scheming to infiltrate and destroy their competition. But in real life, there's way more to learn from the competition than trade secrets. I know, I'm disappointed too. I have a really piercing businessy glare. Instead of spies or emperors, entrepreneurs are more like scientists. We come up with a hypothesis, our business idea, and observe our environment to help us make informed decisions. A crucial part of our environment is our competition, the businesses or products that customers might buy instead of ours. Competitors and customers are both important players in our market. Any structure that allows buyers and sellers to exchange goods, services, or information. Not the same kind of market where you get kale and frozen pizzas. From competitors, we can learn standards for doing business in our market, who our potential customers are, and possible gaps in what's currently being offered where we could provide more value. But wait, I thought you said this wasn't cutthroat. This sounds a lot like using the competition to get ahead. I mean, it sort of is. But we're not being shady or unethical about it. We're not trying to destroy everyone who dares to make a product or service similar to ours. We want to learn all we can so we have the best chance of being profitable. That is the ultimate goal, right? To make money doing something we love while making the world a better place. And to do that, our business must be competitive. And we have to do the research. Plus, nemesis are having their cultural moment, or at least a Twitter moment. Comparing ourselves to other people can definitely make us feel insecure. But these days, people are using their foes as fuel for more innovation. This special kind of competitor can push us to work harder on our ideas, even if they have no idea who we are. Not to mention, our competitors are just as curious about us. I might be someone's nemesis and not know it. So, let's start with the first thing we can learn from our competitors. Market standards. We have to work smart, not just hard. So take note of what they're doing. They've set price points, created marketing campaigns, contracted with suppliers, and already have customers. Straight up copying is illegal, and sure, not everything will work for your specific business, but gathering this information can give you an idea of industry standards. Pricing is especially tricky. It's common to underprice products when you're starting out, but hey, you need to make enough to keep doing business. And you don't want to go to market with a $100 pizza when everyone else is charging $10. Unless you've replaced cheese with gold, but what monster would do that? Or if you notice that someone is wildly overcharging for their service, your calculations may show that you could charge less and still make a tidy profit. Down the road, paying attention to your competition can also tip you off to the winds of economic change. Have they slashed prices or rolled out several new products? Have they rebranded? Have they merged with a related company? All of this information reflects what customers currently want from your market. Besides what customers want, our competition can also tell us who potential customers are. We know how important it is to talk to our potential customers, so if you're at a loss for who might buy your product or where to find them, start with your competition. You might find key demographics from public data, like marketing on their social media channels and website, or look at reviews on Amazon or Yelp. Customers are telling us all the time who they are and what they like. They are laying out what gains they want and what pains are still frustrating. If you still can't find what you're looking for, try going straight to the source, which is about as close to corporate espionage as we can get. Call a non-competitive similar business in another state or city so you can ask them slightly deeper questions like, Why did you price your product this way? And what is your biggest target market? Or go to a physical establishment and pay attention to the other customers and the overall atmosphere. Is the place full of like angry old ladies or mild-mannered Wall Street brokers? What time is it busiest? What is their customer service like? Once we have a sense of what our competitors are doing, it's just as important to consider what they are not doing or what problems they're having. These are the gaps in the market. There might be 100 burger restaurants in your town, but none of them offer vegetarian options and gluten-free buns. Hello, that's a gap. I need it. There might be 3 electric scooter companies operating downtown, but none on the university campus. That's a gap. There might be dozens of dog walker flyers in the community center, but none of them send pictures and walk reports. Gap. Huge one. Pet owner here, believe me. When we talk to customers to understand their jobs, pains, and gains, we need to understand what they're currently buying to make sure that our business is not more of the same. We want to offer something valuable and unique that meets customer needs. In other words, we really want to differentiate our product. Now, to really help our business stand out, we need to understand the 2 key forms of competition: direct and indirect. Direct competition is when different businesses offer similar products or services to a wide variety of customers. Your local bookstore, Barnes & Nobles, and Amazon are all in direct competition to sell you the latest fiction gem, like Hank Green's An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which will someday star me. Customers consider lots of factors such as price, location, service, and products when deciding where to buy their books. But people have different preferences, so everyone will probably choose different combinations of those factors. That's why competition exists and what lets you find gaps. The college kid down the block who shops local may choose the independent bookstore, while the errand-running parent goes to Barnes & Noble, and the price-conscious retiree uses Amazon. In the end, they all get the same book. On the other hand, indirect competition is when a variety of products and services are offered to the same customer base. Bookstores aren't just selling books, they're also selling enrichment and entertainment. So indirect competitors of bookstores would be other things people do to enrich their lives or be entertained, like films, television, video games, or board games. Movies as a medium can be considered indirect competition. Doesn't have to be a particular business like a theater chain or streaming service. So competition is sort of a multi-dimensional tug of war between businesses, and it's not easy to be competitive. In 1979, business academic and author Michael Porter wrote about competition in the Harvard Business Review, and his insights are still referenced today. Porter's 5 Forces is no Pride and Prejudice, but it's still considered a business classic. So it is a truth universally acknowledged that there are 5 key factors you have to balance to be a competitive business. The lower these are, the better, like 5-hole mini golf. Number 1 is supplier power. How easy is it for your suppliers, the people who get you the stuff you need to run your business, to demand higher prices? Supplier power is high. If there aren't very many suppliers in the market, the product you need is rare, the supplier is large, and you're one of thousands of clients. Or switching suppliers is too expensive. In all of those cases, you are sort of at the mercy of their whims. Number 2 is buyer power. Can you choose your price? Or are you constantly trying to lure in buyers with sweet deals? Buyer power is high. If there aren't very many buyers in the market, each buyer is very important to your business, or there's a low cost for the buyer to hop between you and your competition. Number 3 is threat of substitution. Is anyone doing exactly what you're doing? When there are lots of close alternatives, customers are more tempted to switch what business they support if your prices increase. So threat of substitution is high if changing loyalties appeals to your customers' wallets. Number 4 is threat of new entrants. Money attracts competition, so who else could try to do similar things? More competition means fewer profits for any businesses currently in the market. Barriers like patented technology or other intellectual property, governmental red tape, lack of access to distribution channels, or expensive startup costs can prevent this. But the threat of new entrants is high if such barriers do not exist. And number 5 is competitive rivalry. How many competitors do you have? Rivalry is high if growth is slow across an industry. Getting out is hard. There are high fixed costs like rent, utilities, or insurance that drive price cutting. Or if you have competitors that don't seem to sleep, or literally don't need to, like AI. More competitors often means lower prices across a market. To see how Porter's 5 forces can measure how competitive a business is, let's go to the thought bubble. An enterprising young man named Tom was roughly the size of an average 13-year-old boy. So he created a business called Rent-A-Swag to rent his luxury clothes and accessories, like truly dope pocket squares, to actual 13-year-olds. But just how competitive is he? Tom owns all of the merchandise he rents, so he's his own supplier and doesn't have to negotiate deals and relationships with other distributors. So supplier power is low. There are lots of kids interested in cool outfits, and there are no direct competitors to Rent-A-Swag in his community. Indirectly, Tom competes with department stores who sell luxury clothes and accessories, but there's a huge cost for buyers to switch. A low rental fee is much more affordable than the complete cost of these items. So, buyer power is low. And as long as Tom keeps his rental prices below the retail price of his indirect competitors, customers probably won't change loyalties. So, the threat of substitution is low. Tom's entrepreneurial success was because his initial financial risk was relatively low. He owned all his merchandise and found cheap real estate to rent. And there were few barriers to entry. But that means there's not much to stop other people either. So the threat of new entry is high. And if a rival entrepreneur, like an OBGYN/business tycoon, starts the same type of business across the street, customers would have no incentives to stay loyal to Tom. So competitive rivalry could be high. So even though his business is competitive, Tom isn't sweeping the 5 forces. He needs to be aware of his weaknesses and develop a plan to balance competitive rivalry and threat of new entry if he wants to succeed. Thanks, Thought Bubble. So basically, with more information, entrepreneurs can make better decisions. Learn everything you can from the competition. And remember, in business, there can be more than one winner. Next time, we'll talk about the ins and outs of making your business legal. Thank you so much for watching Crash Course Business, which is sponsored by Google. And thank you to Thought Cafe for the graphics you saw. If you want to help keep Crash Course free for everybody forever, you can join our community on Patreon. And if you want to learn more about competition and market economies, check out this Crash Course Economics video. When will your
Okay. So we want to identify, analyze, and plan the opportunity. As discussed in the last section, opportunity recognition is active, cognitive process or process through which individuals conclude that they identify the potential to create something new that has potential to generate economic value, is not currently being exploited or developed, viewed as desirable in society in which it occurs. Development is consistent with existing legal and moral conditions because opportunity recognition is a cognitive process. According to Baron, people can learn to be more effective at recognizing opportunities by changing the way they think about opportunities and how they recognize them. The opportunity is a chance to satisfy the needs and desires of certain people, group of people, while generating returns that enable you to continue to operate and build your organization over time. Many different conditions in society create opportunities for new goods and services. As a prospective entrepreneur, the key questions are as follows. What is the need that is not being met? What are the conditions that have created opportunity for my idea? Why do people want and need something new at this point in time? What are the factors that have opened up this opportunity? Will the opportunity be enduring, or will the window that is open today but likely to close tomorrow? If you perceive an unmet need, can you deliver what the customer wants while generating durable margins and profits? How can I take the venture while supporting sustainable development goals? Opportunity conditions arise from a variety of sources. At a broad societal level, there are present as a result of forces such as shifting demographics, changes in knowledge, and understanding due to scientific advances. A rebalancing or imbalance of political winds or changing attitudes and norms that give rise to new needs. Certain demographic shifts and pollution challenges create SDG opportunities. When you combine enhanced public focus on health and wellness, advanced water treatment methods, clean combustion technologies, renewable clean energy sources, conversion, and use packaging into new asset streams, benign chemical compounds for industrial processes, and local and sustainable has grown organic food. You begin to see the wide range of opportunities that exist due to macro trends. Make sure to answer the opportunity questions above your entrepreneurial plan. Identify, analyze, and plan the market. What you're doing, selling, contributing. New ventures offer solutions to people's problems. This concept requires you not only to examine the item or the service description, but also to further understand the group of people whose unmet needs you're meeting, often called market analysis. In entrepreneurial innovation circumstance, you must ask the following question. What is the solution for which you want someone to pay? Is it the service or product or some combination? To whom are you selling? Is the buyer the actual user? Who makes the purchase decision? What's the customer's problem? And how does your service or product address it? Understanding what you're selling is not as obvious as it might sound. When you sell an electric vehicle, you're not just selling transportation. Buyers buying a package of attributes that might include cutting-edge technology, lower operating costs, and perhaps the satisfaction of being part of a solution to health, environmental, and energy security problems. Make sure to answer these market questions above the entrepreneurial plan. The entrepreneurial process, part 2, continuing to identify, analyze, and plan the entrepreneur team. The opportunity entrepreneurial must be intertwined in a way that optimizes the probability for success. People often become entrepreneurs when they see an opportunity. They're compelled to start something to find out whether they can convert the opportunity into an ongoing source of fulfillment and potential financial gain. That means ideally the entrepreneurial life experience, education, skills, and work exposure, the network that contacts align well with opportunity. We all covered this in previous sections, so if you need to refer back, you can go back. Entrepreneur skills, abilities, and cognition. Entrepreneurs sometimes act alone, but not only they take it this far. A good entrepreneurial plan, interesting product idea, and promising opportunity are all positive. But in the end, his ability of the entrepreneur to attract a team, get a product out, and provide it to customers at the thing that they count. Typically, there's an individual who initially drives the process through his or her ability to mobilize the resources and sometimes through sheer force of will, hard work, and determination to succeed. In challenging times, the entrepreneur's vision and leadership abilities can carry the day. Ultimately led by the entrepreneur, a team forms. As the organization grows, the team becomes a key factor. The entrepreneur's skills, education, capabilities, and weaknesses must be augmented and complemented by the competencies of team members they bring to the project. The following important questions ask: does the team have a unit that has background skills and understanding the opportunity to overcome obstacles? Can the team act as a collaborative unit with strong decision-making ability under fluid conditions? Can the team deal with conflict and disagreement as normal and the aspect of working through complex decisions under ambiguity? Make sure to note who, what expertise is needed in your team as part of your entrepreneurial plan. Identify, analyze, and plan resources. Successful entrepreneurial process require entrepreneurs and teams to mobilize a wide array of resources quickly and efficiently. All innovative and entrepreneurial ventures combine specific resources such as capital, talent, and know-how, accountants, lawyers, equipment, and production facilities. Breaking down opportunities require resources into competencies, can clarify what's needed and when it's needed. Although resource needs change during early growth stages of opportunity, at each stage the entrepreneur should clear about priority resources that enable or inhibit moving the next stage of growth. What kinds of resources are needed? The following list provides guidance. Capital. What financial resources, in which form, equity, debt, family loans, angel capital, venture capital are needed in the first stage. This requires an understanding of cash flow needs, break even time frames, and other details. Even nonprofits need to make money to stay afloat. Back in the envelope, estimates can be converted to pro forma income statements to understand financial needs. Know-how. Record keeping and accounting and legal process and advice are essential resources that must be considered at the start of each venture. Access to experts is important, especially in early stages, making opportunity happen. New opportunities require legal incorporation, financial record keeping, and redundancy systems and resources to provide these expenses are needed to be considered. Facilities, equipment, and transport. Does a venture need office space, production facilities, special equipment, and transportation? At the early stages of analysis, ownership of these resources does not need to be determined. The resource requirement, however, must be identified. Entrepreneur overall process. The process of entrepreneurial means the pieces together in a process and unfold over weeks and months, and eventually years if the business is successful. Breaking down the process into categories and components helps you understand the pieces and how they fit together. What we find in retrospect with the successful launches is a coherent fit among the parts. The entrepreneur's skills and education match what the startup needs are. The opportunity can be optimally explored with the team and resources are identified and mobilized. The resources must be brought to bear to launch the opportunity with entry strategy that delivers the value-driven concept that solves customers' problems. Entrepreneurial planning, part 1. With all the things in mind, documenting answers to questions above, analysis undertaken to answer them is contained in an entrepreneurial plan. This document that you would use to plan out details for the elements outlined above. Making sure you identify, analyze, and plan these elements is a great starting point. Make sure it's all done really well. Have a look at the principles below. Entrepreneurial plan communication principles. As Hiddle and Main Prize 2006 know, business plan writers must strive to communicate their expectations about the nature of the uncertain future. However, the liabilities of newness make communicating the expected future of the new opportunity difficult, or more than the existing generations. They outline 5 communication principles. Expectations. Translation of your vision of the venture and how to perform it in a format compatible with expectations of the readers. Communicate that you identified and understood the key success factors and risks. The projected market is large and you expect to have good penetration. You have a strategy for commercialization, profitability, and market domination, and you establish and protect the proprietorship and the competitive position. Milestones. Anchoring key events in the plan with a specific financial and quantitative values communicate that your major plan objectives are the form of financial targets. You have addressed the dual need for planning and flexibility. You understand the hazards of neglecting linkages between certain events. You understand the importance of quantitative values rather than just chronological dates. Opportunities. Nothing lasts forever. Things that change and impact the opportunity, taste, preferences, technological innovation, competitive landscape. Communicate these 4 aspects to distinguish the business concept, connective competencies, and sustainable advantages. The new combination which the skill venture is built, the magnitude of opportunity or market size, market growth trends, venture value of the market, percent of market share proposed or market share value in dollars. Context. 4 key aspects describing the context which the new opportunity is intended to function. Internal, external environment. Communicate how the context will help or hinder the proposal. How the context may change or affect the organization and range of flexibility or response that is built into the venture. What management can or will do in the event of context turns unfavorable. What management can do to affect the context in a positive way. Entrepreneurial model, a brief and clear statement of how idea actually becomes a business that creates value. Communicate who pays, how much, and how often. What activities the company must perform to produce the product deliver its customers and earn revenue, and be able to defend assertions that the venture is attractive and sustainable and has competitive advantage. Entrepreneurial planning. The entrepreneurial plan creates principles. Entrepreneurial plan writers must strive to project credibility. Hindle and Main Prize 2006 said that, so there must be a match between what the entrepreneurial team, the resource seekers needs, and what the resource providers expect based on their criteria. A take it or leave it approach. Financial forecast set in concrete by the entrepreneurship team has a high likelihood of failure in terms of securing resources. Hindle Meg Prize 2006 outlined 5 principles to help entrepreneurs project credibility. Team. Without the right team, nothing else matters. Communicate. What do they know? Who do they know? And how well often do they know? Elaboration. Break down individual tasks into the subparts so that each step maximizes the upside and minimizes downside. Sub-strategies, the ad hoc programs, and specific tactical action plans. Scenario integration, claiming an inseparable lead or partnership market position is naive. Opportunity building is like a chess. Anticipate several moves in advance. View the future as a movie versus a snapshot. Financial link. Key assumptions related to market size, penetration rates, and timing issues. A market context outlined on the entrepreneurial plan should link directly to financial statements. Income and cash flow statements must be preceded by operational statements setting forth the primary planning assumptions about market sizes, sales, productivity, and basis of revenue estimate. The deal. If the main purpose is to enact a harvest, then the entrepreneurial plan must create a value-adding deal structured to attract investors. Common things: viability, profit potential, downside risk, likely life cycle time, potential areas to dispute or improvement. Entrepreneurial planning, general entrepreneurial plan guidelines. Many entrepreneurs must have a plan to achieve their goals. The following are some basic guidelines for entrepreneurial plan development. A standard format helps the reader understand the entrepreneur has thought everything through and returns justly the risk. Binding document ensures the reader can easily go through it without falling apart. Be 100% certain that everything completely integrated. The written part must say exactly the same thing, the financial part. Our financial statements are completely linked and valid. Make sure all balance sheets are validly balanced. The document is well formatted. Layout makes the document easy to read and comprehend, including all diagrams, charts, statements, and other additions. Everything is correct. There's no spelling, grammar, sentence structure, reference, calculation errors. The document's easy to read and comprehend because it's organized well, no unnecessary repetition. It is usually unnecessary and damaging to state the thing that's more than once. To add unnecessary duplication information, you should combine sections and reduce or eliminate duplication as much as possible. Unnecessary information is included to enable the readers to understand everything in the document. In terms that you use, the plan are clear. For example, if your plan says something like, there was a shortage of 100,000 units and competitors currently producing 25,000. We can help fill in the huge gap in capacity to produce 5,000 units. The readers left completely confused. Does this mean the shortage is 100,000 units, but competitors are filling in the gap by producing 25,000 per year? In that case, you're going to be a shortage of 4 years. Or is there an annual shortage of 100,000 units with only 25 being produced each year? In this case, the shortage is very high and growing each year. You must always provide competitive perspective by indicating appropriate time frame, currency size, and other measurement. If you use a percentage figure, you can indicate what it refers. Otherwise, the figure is completely useless to the reader. If your plan includes an international element, which currencies the cost, the revenues, the price, and other values are quoted. This can be solved in indicating upfront document the currency in which all values are quoted. Another option is to indicate the time in which the currency is being used. Sometimes you want to indicate the value is more than one currency. Of course, you're going to need to assess the exchange rate risk to which you expose and describe your document. Credibility is both established and maintained. If the statement is included, it presents something, a fact, when the fact is not generally known, always indicate the source. Unsupported statements damage credibility. Be specific. An entrepreneurial plan is simply not of value if it uses vague references in high demand. Carefully set prices. Another weak phrasing. It must show hard numbers. Properly referenced, of course. Actual prices and real data acquired in the proper research. It's the only way to ensure your plan is considered credible. And then this is simulation. Throughout this model, you have learned about several entrepreneur skills, abilities, and attributes, characteristics, and examples. Now it's time to put these skills and attributes into practice by completing a case-based simulation exercise. In this simulation, you will select from 2 sustainable development goal options, work your way through a variety of readings and associate challenges. In each section, you will be given a resource link that contains information needed to answer the question carefully. Be sure to read through the provided resource carefully and complicate the possible answers prior to submitting. It's right here. The Sustainable Development Goals were developed by the UN as a means to get the global community aligned to address and the most pressing and urgent issues impacting our world today. Okay. Okay. Choose one sustainable development goal from the list. No poverty or gender equality. Gender equality? Okay. The intent of this goal is to achieve gender equality for all women and girls worldwide. As a reminder, entrepreneurs typically find success through either innovating, starting a new business, starting a nonprofit, or improving something that already exists. Your goal in this case is to choose one of these methods and make an infographic proposal. Choose a scenario. Agriculture. So if you're going to look at agriculture, you're going to start a farming business in Afghanistan that uses planting hedgerows along the edges rather than pesticides. This is something that's really important, especially if you're doing organic. You can actually plant certain plants next to each other to stop bugs from eating. So take, for instance, if you have strawberries, you can put onion plants next to strawberries and they're not going to taste like onions. Trust me. There's a farm in Irvine called Tanaka Farms, and they do that. They plant strawberries next to onions. It's pretty cool. I never thought of that. I always thought that somehow they would cross each other and your strawberries could taste oniony, but that's not true. Your strawberries taste like strawberries and your onions taste like onions. And they don't cross-pollinate each other. They're different types of plants. What do you think? Rural, remote land, rolling, rural, remote, flat, rural lands close to urban cities, or urban land? All right, let's go to this one. Poverty, the intent of the goal is to eradicate poverty worldwide. As a reminder, entrepreneurs typically find success through innovating, starting a business, starting a nonprofit, improving something that's already exists, and the goal of this case is to choose one of the methods and make an infographic. You want to innovate? Innovation means to see something differently, be creative in problem solving, and make things happen. Let's say you wanted to help improve the accessibility of loans and the rate of return. Rural farmers in Afghanistan would enhance their use of sustainable farming practices. This would mean creating new and innovative sustainable farming practices that are now no cost to bring these farms out of poverty. Let's work on some of the questions you're going to need to answer. You might ask yourself, what is the largest impacts of agriculture it has on the planet and the people? What do you think? Water use, biodiversity, pesticides, all the above? That's correct, all the above. Good job. And then here, what's a relatively inexpensive natural way to produce the use of pesticides and herbicides? Do you remember this one? Hedgerow? Yes, you guys remember that. And what's the best location? Last time we said rural land that's flat. No, that's not right. But I thought I put down the other one and it's wrong. Gender equality, I already read that one. Improve something, yes. Microfinancing. Microfinancing is proven over the years to be a great way to start up small farms and rural areas as food as high demand and land is available, and one organization's had considerable success is Kavia. You guys always see that in the commercials, right? Kavia. It's like a chocolate type thing. And I always see it on the YouTube commercials. Let's say you wanted to improve the accessibility of loans to and the rate of return. Rural farmers in Afghanistan would mean getting more loans out of those who already have ability to pay the loans back. So you want to work through the questions. What's the best location for this farm? Maybe rural land? Yeah, by the urban, so it's close to the city. What type of loan should they get? Um, Nuts. I don't remember learning about that. Okay. So this is Kavia. This is Kavia.
दोस्तों कीवा कंपनी की बात करें तो भारत में एक उभर
So it is actually a company that is all over the world. So this is how to do. This is the one, women's business development.
Kiva, the process and how to apply. As a small business, a loan from Kiva can provide you with your first step up the capital ladder. To start your journey, you need to understand how borrower campaigns work and how to complete an application. We'll walk you step by step through the process so you can unlock your future, build your resources, and reach your goals. What is Kiva? Kiva is an international nonprofit that helps everyday business owners access small loans to reach their goals by accessing necessary capital. It's a crowdfunding platform that connects small businesses with loans from everyday individuals. The WBDC is a Kiva hub, providing business advising and one-on-one support to access crowdfunded loans for businesses that need to build their borrowing potential. How do I apply? Borrowers apply at kiva.org/borrow. There are a few key things to prepare and gather before starting your application. Your story, a high-quality photo of you and your business, and some basic business documents and information about your business and personal finances. Let's talk more about each of those elements. Your story. Kiva wants prospective lenders to develop relationships with the businesses they support. You should prepare a short statement explaining who you are, why you started your business, where you are now, and where you want to go. Make sure to include your community impact. That will help prospective lenders understand the passion and determination you put into running your business each and every day. A photo of you and your business. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Take a clear, engaging photo of you at work. Make sure the image you use supports your business story, clearly showing what you do and your impact. Some basic business documents and information about your finances. This information is for internal use only. It helps Kiva see where you are financially and how you operate your company. To verify your business, Kiva accepts any of the following: incorporation documents, government registration, federal, state, county, or city, permits, doing business as or fictitious business name or assumed business name, business tax returns, and tax IDs or EINs. To document your finances, your monthly expenses, credit card, mortgage, or rent payments, or other debt payments. Keep in mind that tax returns, bank statements, and business plans aren't required but will help borrowers qualify for larger loans. And it's always good to check your credit score. What happens next? Kiva will review your application and approve the appropriate loan size. The next phase is fundraising, and this includes 2 stages, private and public. Private fundraising period. You have 15 days to recruit between 5 and 40 friends or family members to support your loan. Each of them must make a minimum contribution of $25. The higher your loan, the more people you will need to secure during your private funding period. It's most important to get the people to commit during this time, not to fund your entire loan. You're proving that your own community trusts and will support you before borrowing from the Kiva community. Public fundraising period. Once you complete the private fundraising phase by getting your core lenders committed, your public crowdfunding campaign goes live on Kiva and is discoverable by 2 million impact-driven lenders. Borrowers in the United States have a 95% chance of fully funding their loan. Remember, fundraising is important, and a fully funded loan is not guaranteed. Fully funded loan. Loan funds are dispersed via PayPal within 5 to 7 days of full funding. Repayment. Repayment is done through a fixed monthly payment, and the first repayment happens 30 days after funds are dispersed. As you repay your loan, Kiva distributes the repayment back to your lenders. Let's walk through the actual application. First, visit kiva.org/borrow. Once there, you will click Get Started, Start Pre-Check, Got It, and create an account by entering your first name, last name, date of birth, email address, and phone number. Be sure to answer the prompts and mention that you heard about Kiva from the WBDC. Then enter your legal business name and business street address. Finally, answer the remaining prompts, select your desired loan amount, and click Submit. Kiva and the WBDC are here to help you access the capital you need. To learn more, please visit us at wbdc.org or email us at chicago@local.kiva.org.
Starting a nonprofit and helping it grow so that it can be successful and make a huge impact in the world can be a lot of hard work. So if you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, there are a couple things that you should probably do before you get started that will help make sure that you will be successful and make a big impact. If you've seen some of my other videos, welcome back. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Amber Melanie Smith, and I am a nonprofit founder, executive director, and speaker on all things social impact, service, and leadership.
So if you want to get some ideas about different businesses and opportunities, you could always watch YouTubers, and then you might say, wait, I didn't even think about this kind of business. I could have done this too. And then you get some ideas. Maybe you can do something similar, or you might be able to do something better. Anyways, that concludes today. And make sure you read a summary. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a blessed week. Bye.